And welcome to the chat on Newsday Amarillo and News Channel 10-2. I'm David Lovejoy.
And I'm Chuckalicious, Chuck Williams.
And welcome back to the chat today. As we know, this month is an awareness of Alzheimer's, and it's a devastating illness, and it covers a lot. Sometimes I think people, it's such a mass blanket what the term Alzheimer's means and different forms of dementia. One thing, especially about Alzheimer's, you have to remember it's not just an old folks' disease anymore. You're seeing younger falling to it. Our man Shane Harnish from BSA Hospice of the Southwest is here with us today to talk a little bit about this horrible effect of people. Shane, welcome to the chat. How are you doing today?
I'm wonderful. Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
Now, we know BSA Hospice of the Southwest has to deal with a very tough topic and dealing with grief and people making that transition. You amplify that issue, especially if Alzheimer's or dementia or other mental behavioral health issues are present. What does BSA do for the patients with Alzheimer's who are entering that phase?
Well, the most important thing that I want to get across today is helping people and engaging the ones who have Alzheimer's. So one of the first things we want to do is reorient them and tell them no, or just don't go along with their belief that they're whatever point they're living in that moment. So my advice to everyone is to just meet them wherever they are. Just go into their world wherever they are. It doesn't matter if they think they're 12 and they're looking for their mother. There's nothing wrong with that. So just go with them. When we try to redirect or even reorient, it makes things a lot worse. Mm-hmm. Hospice is in place. We have a whole team of people, professionals that can come out to the home and help you in dealing with your loved one. From medications, we have nurses, doctors, social workers, chaplains, volunteers, home health aides that can all come out and assist the patient and the family to give them a little bit of a respite when it comes to caring for the patients with Alzheimer's disease.
The more I look at this, the hospice in itself is for the living, and I realize it's for, most times it's considered end of life, but hospice under itself is for the living, is it not?
That is absolutely correct. There's multiple research studies out there that show the earlier you get hospice on board, people actually live longer. They have a higher quality of life because we're going to get rid of all of those unnecessary things, things that are the doctor told you you'd have to take for the rest of your life.
Right.
Many of those medications, for instance, they work 10, 20 years down the road. So at this point, there's really no use in some of those treatments that we force upon people. So we do see a great increase many times in someone's awareness even. But we're here for the family just as much as we are for the patient, as you were saying earlier.
Well, one thing, Shane, I had a good friend whose mother passed away, was in the stages of Alzheimer's, was diagnosed with something else and passed away from that. And his phrase was, I lost my mother twice, because in the sense of it, she didn't recognize people anymore. She wasn't engaging, anymore with activities and with people. And then, of course, the disease took her life. So when we talk about Alzheimer's and we talk about hospice, it's exactly what you talked about. This is really kind of a bridge or a pathway to help the living understand the path and how to cope with this, isn't it?
Absolutely. There are many references out there, things that you can do. Alzheimer's Association, I'd like to encourage everyone to go there for great information. Also, the Texas Department of Health and Human Services has actually put out some great literature to help families that are suffering with a loved one who has dementia. So there's a lot of resources out there. And of course, we're a resource too. So please reach out to BSA Hospice of the Southwest. we can assist you in whatever needs you have.
No, we already know it's you have to be a special person to work in hospice. You have to have a giving heart and a depth of caring. Is there any special training that employees or people here at BSA have to go through when we start adding or compounding it with the effects of Alzheimer's or dementia that's creeping in? Is there any special training you a lot or that you specifically look for?
Oh, absolutely. You know, we train in validation techniques here at BSA Hospice of the Southwest, and that's what I was talking about earlier. Just meeting the person where they are.
Mhm.
The reorientation, redirection, things like that can actually increase behaviors and make the patient not as comfortable.
Hmm.
So, and that's what it's all about is, keeping them happy. One of my biggest things I like to teach on is when you want for instance, if you notice that they're soiled, for instance, you could just hold your hand out, smile, and say, "Would you like to come with me?"
Mhm.
Right.
Um, that seems to work so much better. Of course, the smile, caring about the person, and then just asking them to join you
Mhm.
um, is much better than just telling them what you're going to do.
I think sometimes we forget that no matter whatever their condition is, physically or mentally, they still have dignity.
Right.
I think sometimes we
Absolutely.
forget the dignity.
You know, one of the things that I've looked at as far as hospice care is concerned, it seems as though you never can get enough volunteers. Go into that for me, will you please?
Absolutely. Hospice was set up on a volunteer platform, and
Right.
so and it's actually a regulation. We have to 5% of all of our hours have to be provided by volunteers.
Oh, wow.
We have several volunteers, of course, here at hospice, but we're always looking for more. We like to be able to, when families call and say, "Hey, can you come sit here while I go to the grocery store?" Or, whatever it may be. Maybe they have a doctor's appointment. So we're there for them. We have volunteers that can come out and do that. We've got volunteers that do all kinds of things, make veterans blankets,
Right.
um, you know, uh, tons of different things. So if you're interested, please call us for that too.
Mm. I think you put it very well that we're here for you. I think that's the most important thing. Both the patient and the family members are going for this. Sometimes it can feel like a bottomless well, that
Right.
everything me. And the folks at BSA Hospice of the Southwest, they're there for you. They'll help guide you through this. They'll help guide you through the next phase of it, and they do that with dignity and care. It's a tough job. Trust me. This is not an easy subject to broach, but we all face it sooner or later
Hmm.
in our lives. And BSA Hospice of the Southwest is one of the best at helping you get through this. If you need help, if you want to have this conversation, give them a call at 806 356 0026. And don't forget, all month long, we recognize the disease, which is Alzheimer's disease. And we think about those and those loved ones and those family members who are suffering through that plight. Shane, great job, man. Appreciate what you guys do.
Yes,
Well, thank
indeed.
you. Thank
Anytime,
y'all very much.
anytime, sir. Don't forget, if you need to have this conversation, call BSA Hospice of the Southwest at 806 356 0026. They're there for you. We'll take a quick break. We're back with more chat right after this.